Hello, lovely ladies. Thanks so much for watching our channel. Ramadan Mubarak to all of our Muslim subscribers. We hope you have a blessed month. Today we're going to be talking about 3 reasons why you might be having those same pointless arguments with your man and what exactly is coming up internally as these arguments are happening. So we'll go right into our first one, which is
expressing raw emotion without actually processing it first. Or in other words, expecting the man to take up your raw emotions and process it for you. And so one of the reasons why that's a problem is because a lot of the time it muddies communication, it makes the other person more defensive, and you yourself will probably be very dysregulated when you bring it up. And so one of the things that happens when you don't process it and you take it on upon the other person is that they might not be ready for it. They might not have the capacity for it. They themselves might be dysregulated. And so it's a very ripe situation for conflict or for arguments that happen over and over again.
how does the man perceive when that is happening in real time from a woman?
Yeah, it really depends on how much space he has or if he's ready for it when this conversation is brought up. If he's in the middle of work or something, that's probably not the best time to do it. If it's, when you're about to fall asleep, that's also not the best time to do it. And for a man, we want to be able to contain your emotions and be there for you and listen to you. But it needs to be in a way that's not completely chaotic.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and so one of the things that we've talked about before is kind of taking responsibility for not only your emotions, but where those emotions come from. So we've talked in previous videos about how your childhood kind of shapes your love life. And this is kind of connected to that you need to process what's coming up for you and why that's coming up before you actually bring it to your partner.
I constantly get questions on how do you process an emotion, especially as women, we feel so deeply. And that's not a bad thing, right? That has so many benefits in your life and in your day-to-day. It allows us to connect so deeply with other people, other women, with men. It's a really great thing to have within yourself, but it needs to be regulated. You can't just kind of project those difficult emotions onto other people. And so my answer is typically like it varies from person to person. I can give my clients the ways that I process an emotion, but that might not track for them. It might not be relevant for them. They might not actually benefit from the ways that I like to process through an emotion. For me, it's journaling. For me, it's praying. It's talking to you once I've processed it fully, right? Yeah. It's not just going to you right away with this like heavy stuff and I'm just like, here's everything, right? Yeah. And I think in a marriage it's a little bit different because the point is that we have each other, right? The point is that I can always count on you for whatever might be coming up internally. But also I'm not going to put every single thought and every single burden that comes up for me and put that onto you because that's a lot for any person to take. And it's very it's a delicate balance, I think.
Yeah, and it's a good point to bring up because where you are in your relationship with the man you're talking to is going to determine how unprocessed it could be. Of course, like you're saying, it doesn't mean that if just because you're married, you just say whatever you want, bring anything up at any moment. But if you're first talking to this guy, you probably don't want to lean on him at all for any processing.
Yeah, which we actually have talked about in previous videos as well. So please feel free to check that out. We're going to go into our second point, which is unhealed attachment wounds and how they might be affecting the dynamics and adding to those arguments that you might be having again and again with your man.
Yeah, and we talked about this in a previous video as well about how your childhood is shaping the way your love life looks or your marriage or your dynamics. And a lot of the time you're just mimicking or mirroring what you saw in your parents. And you're like replaying those same arguments that they did because that's what you learned marriage was. And it's almost like this subconscious thing that I'm like, oh, my parents argued about this thing, so I probably should too. We don't really think of it that way, but it comes out that way. And so that leads to a lot of arguments, especially if your man has not seen arguments like that before. He doesn't think that's normal. So
how do you work through that?
Yeah, I think it's you if something is triggering you, or if your man is doing something you don't like in the kitchen or whatever, just take a deep breath, like step away for a little bit, check in with yourself, like why is this coming up? What is this actually about? And of course, you can't expect that from yourself at every given moment. You're going to snap, you're going to feel really irritated at times. But if you want to lessen those number of arguments you have, you need to start being aware of like, why is him doing this thing making me feel this way? Instead of like, I am feeling angry because he's doing this. Like, stop doing that. It's really internally and externally that like we start to feel things.
Yeah. And I think the important part is that you're learning from your parents, right? And if it's not your parents, it's a couple or a dynamic that you grew up around, whether it's your aunt, uncle, your grandparents, your brother and his wife. It could be anyone that you kind of grew up seeing, and those dynamics affect us whether we want to admit it or not. Again, like Samar said, it's all kind of subconscious, so you're not actually thinking like fully when you're triggered that this is why I'm triggered right now. For my girlies that are very intellectual, like I mentioned, very intelligent, that find themselves in that type of space, they will connect very easily, right? They'll be able to connect that like that trigger to a past memory. But if you're not processing, goes back to point one, if you're not processing it fully through, it's just gonna stay up here. It's just gonna be an intellectual type of response.
Yeah, for sure. And I do want to go to number 3 on our list is you get into these arguments because you have a desire for control, or you're not seeing the other person for the fullness of their being. You kind of see them as like the villain, or maybe the person who just always tries to annoy you, or all these types of things. Yeah,
like it's like a direct attack on you and the way you do things. I see this personally coming up for me, and I want to reiterate that we're not perfect at all. We're not showing up here trying to be a perfect couple. We're showing you the realities of what it's like to be married and to be aware and conscious and work toward bettering our marriage. And so this shows up a lot for me too. Driving is a really big one. Oh my gosh, it's so, and I'm sure if you're in a relationship or you're married, you understand this, because it's either driving or in the kitchen, where a lot of women, we kind of know how to do things, and it's like that's our way of doing things. But as soon as you see someone doing it a little bit differently, it's like, oh my gosh, why are you doing it this way? Actually, it's so funny. We went to run errands with my mom the other day. And my mom said in the car, in my language, so he didn't understand it. And she was just like, why is he going this way? She's like, why is he going this way? And I was just like, it's okay. Like, it's okay.
I go that way because I just trust whatever Google Maps says.
Yeah.
And that's like different.
Exactly. But we know the area or the town very well. We grew up here, and Samar did not grow up here. And so he just kind of goes with that. And in the beginning, this was really hard for me to let go of that control until I realized, why am I riled up over something like this? Why am I riled up over him taking a different turn than the way that I would probably go that route, right? It's not that deep. It's not that important. That's a trigger on me, not on him. And it's not his job to fix his whole life or turn everything around so that he can appease me. Again, we're talking about something so small and so unimportant, like driving a certain route. So again, that's a beautiful example of how my mom and my parents' dynamics were almost projected onto me in that moment. My mom couldn't tell him to not go that way because there was a communication barrier, but so she was telling me to tell him, and I was like, let him just do it. Like, it's okay, he'll figure it out.
I do want to give another example just from my end of like in the beginning of our marriage, we had very different sleep schedules, and Selena was very much like a night owl. She didn't really go to sleep that early, and I was like used to going to sleep at like 9:30, 10 p.m. And so I started noticing myself trying to like get you to bed sooner, like, oh, let's brush our teeth now, or like, it's getting late, like, do you want to shower? And I find myself getting irritated because it's like, okay, it's 11 o'clock and you're still not in bed, and then like, you have to take your supplements, and then you have to do your nighttime routine, and I won't be able to sleep. And so if I just let go and was like, okay, she'll do her stuff whenever she needs to, like I would just try my best to sleep. You know, I'll close the lights, I'll close the bedroom door and try to go to sleep. And whenever she comes to bed, she'll come to bed.
The cool thing about it is that now we sleep at the same time. It didn't have to be this like forced thing.
Yeah.
It's just that that's how it naturally ended up going. The important part here is that there is a desire for control, and sometimes that control comes from a great place, right? It could be like, I want to make life easier, I want to make life better for you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're honoring that other person's journey. We want to be able to see people as whole human beings on their spiritual path, right? They're going on their journey in life, and I don't want to impose what I believe should be the case for him, and for anyone really. Even for my clients, I'm not here to impose that this person should live life or heal themselves in this specific way. It's I'm here to provide space. I'm here to talk to you when you need. I'm here to be that person for you, but I'm not going to sit here and make you do certain things. And that's the same for a relationship as well.
Yeah, we can't assume that we know what's better for the other person. We can't assume that they're doing something wrong and we're doing something right. It's just we do things differently. We grew up differently, and knowing why those differences exist is like really important. That awareness is there. Doesn't mean that just because you have the awareness of why they do something, you can like try to manipulate or change it. It just helps you let go of that desire for control.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that pretty much sums everything up. That's our 3 reasons why you might be having those same arguments with your man. Again, all of this just warrants you to have more awareness within your own body, to notice the sensations that might be coming up within you. There's reasons why anger resides in your chest, or in your tummy, or in your back, or in your shoulders. We want to be able to acknowledge where that anger, frustration, sadness is showing up, and how to work with that. Not just ignore it, not just be this, I'm super strong, I can get through everything, right? We are immortal beings. We're not going to be here forever. And there's reasons why God has instilled these patterns within us. It's possible to heal through them. It's possible to acknowledge why they're there and where they come from and how to move forward with that.
And in our next video, we're actually going to be talking about how to move to a healthy type of relationship that transcends time, so that you can kind of let go of those childhood traumas or those triggers and not bring them to the relationship, but instead move forward and be able to build your marriage, your relationship, and your legacy.
Feel free to check out our previous videos and all future videos, and check out our link in the description box. It is our website. You can work with us one-on-one, and we offer tons of services for you, whether you are in the process of getting married, whether you're starting to look for a partner. Feel free to check it out and browse. We also have a suggestion and questions box, which you can also put in any type of questions or anything you want. We also really appreciate if you can leave a comment and ask your questions. We'd love to respond and answer them. We'd love to engage with all of you. So yeah, feel free to do that. Subscribe, like, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.